society. Chamisa to avoid political tension. Hope well, Chinono and Christmas Vangwa. Hope well, Chinono and Christmas Vangwa. Hope well, Chinono and Christmas Vangwa. Both have spread Chris accusations that Chiwenga has decapitated his wife. Both Robbie shed blessed Geza. Both blinded public suggesting Chris has fled Jeza to Dubai. Hope well, Chinono and Christmas Vangwa. Hope well, Chinono and Christmas Vangwa. Hope well, Chinono and Christmas Vangwa. Both spend time out maneuvering every newspaper. Both rubbish other people's education. Both boast about material possessions. Both trick people suggesting Chris has fled Jeza to Dubai. Both told Chamisa to resign from politics. Both rubbish shred Chamisa saying he does nothing. Both told army to hunt down civil society. Chamisa to avoid political tension. Hope well, Chinono and Christmas Vangwa. Hope well, Chinono and Christmas Vangwa. Hope well, Chinono and Christmas Vangwa.
Suggesting Chris has fled Jeza to Dubai. Both told Chamisa to resign from politics. Both rubbish shed Chamisa saying he does nothing. Both told army to hunt down civil society. Chamisa to avoid political tension. Both have spread Chris accusations that Chiwenga has decapitated his wife. Both Robbie shed blessed Geza. Both blinded public suggesting Chris has fled Jeza to Dubai.
Right. Good evening to you, obvious ministers. We've got a fair amount of people now joining live. This is the News Network Zimai. It's a very good evening to you. We have the latest development in the country, and that has caught a lot of people by surprise, by shock. This is a development that has Wicknell Chivayo, the tenderpreneur, the man who is under investigation with the South Africa Financial Intelligence Unit, basically the South Africa Police Service, right? And so this big announcement, it's like coming within days, within like 3-4 days of it being known that the money that was meant for the elections that disappeared, and ballots were insufficient during the 2023 elections and other tenders here. All that money, or the money that the South Africa intelligence unit managed to track, went into Wicknell Chifai's private accounts. At that time, Wicknell Chifai pops out and he has dished out a car to Dorcas Moyo, first off, and then next he's dished out a car to, this time, oh my word, I'm losing it. It's Dorcas, and then now to Ian Ndlovu. These are all church people, by the way. Right. So, you know what? I'm a Christian, so I'm one of those church people. You could call me a church person. Sakandiri and you might as well blame me as well. But anyway, good evening. I've got joined by my co-host tonight, Hulu Pachiso Life. And by the way, do follow Hulu if you can, please. All our co-hosts join them. So Hulu, follow Hulu. Right, and we're gonna be starting straight away. Hi, Hulu. Good evening.
Good evening, Simba. I hope my network is okay. I'm having connectivity issues today. I'm not really at the house, but I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me, Simba?
Can hear you perfectly. Thank you very much. And
All
I'm
right.
hoping that people can hear you.
Yeah. I think for now I'm connected properly, but if I happen to lose my network, I'll be checking it regularly. Already now I can see it is playing some games. I'm not sure if you can still hear me, Simba.
Can hear you perfectly. I'm going to invite Mr. Wicknell Chivayo. Wicknell, can you come through Tikwan Segutaur? I'm going to send him, drop him a line here so he can come. Because you know what? This shouldn't be bashing sessions. We don't do bashing sessions. This is a news environment where people should be allowed to speak. No one should be blocked and no one should be called names. We're just here to discuss news. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
very true, Simba, very true. So let me also just say, good evening, good morning, afternoon to, those that have just joined Zimai now, and thank you for joining Zimai and me, Hulu at Pachiso Live. And it is an amazing development. This is a man that other people have been, indicating that perhaps, he's very dignified, but people have seen him who is this other one, the gold mafia prophet, again, Hubert Angel. People have seen him, Prophet Hubert Angel, being prayed for. That is Prophet Ian of himself. But he has remained very dignified. He has remained a person that has been speaking things that some people have been saying, what, seems like he's getting it right. But now, look at what is happening now. Wicknell Chivayo is throwing the gauntlet, and it is a very interesting time for Zimbabwe. But of course, remember also that the devil once met Jesus and offered Jesus the entire earth and said, if you worship me, I will give you the whole earth. How did Jesus respond? So how will Prophet Ian Dove respond will be a very interesting one, Simba. But
Right.
we are joined now by Jack Norman and Blessing. Simba, you want to say
Thank you.
something?
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. You know what, Hulu? I think you know my background, right? That some people have thought that I'm an atheist. I know that a lot of people have said, "Simba, uri atheist, you Simba, uno matters, followers, zevarungu," and all sorts. And the thing is, I actually come from a very, 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 very spiritual background. um, and so I follow this development with keen interest. When someone who uses the Lord's name is at the spotlight, or on the spotlight of these things, the same way that I follow Wickno Chivayo keenly, when he announces that everything that he's doing is getting blessings from God because he is a mupostori. Well, thank you very much, Hulu. We've got a few guests here. Maybe we can start straight away, right? Hi, Blessing. How are you? Le- oh, wonderful. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, Blessing, is going to be interesting to hear your views. How do you take this? Wicknell Chivayo giving a car and money and over 150,000 to Prophet Ian Ndlovu. Right.
I think all these prophets, they're just one part of the ZANU PF crew in their ministries, in their churches. They're just ministering the ZANU PF propaganda and stuff. So it's not something that is surprising. It's what they've been doing. So I don't know what we can do about it. Yeah, very interesting, Blessing. Very, very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what makes this very interesting is the fact that you see, people have always had this argument about whether we have true prophets existing anywhere in Zimbabwe. You know, if you can think about Andrew Taunashe was speaking in Mashingo, and what he has been saying, and many people, are surprised to find that Andrew Taunashe is still actually called a prophet. Then we have Bishop Mutendi also in Mashingo. We have got, Walter Magaya and his stories. I think we've had many stories of Walter Magaya. Then we also have Blessing Chiza, the guy that became popular in Blawayo when he was predicting soccer results until he got it so wrong. Until he got it so wrong that he stopped predicting the soccer results after that.
I hope you're not going to get us. I hope that you're not going to get us cursed tonight. Oh no, with your statements.
We have Hubert
You're
Angel.
not going to get us cased by God.
And you know what he did with the gold mafia, Hubert
Mm.
Angel.
Yeah.
Then you also have the other one who in Harare, what is his name again? The one who invited all the prophets to predict things that are in his jacket.
Oh,
you know?
that one will get us into trouble. That one will get us into trouble because I know a lot of people who follow him. Some of them they're very close people, and so whenever I mention him, ever since I did a video of him 10 years ago. I think you remember, 2015, the belly, the fat belly that made him talk on later on a Sunday, and then say that Zim lied. They didn't do an investigation. Da 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 da. Da. You remember the woman from Kwekwe, Beatrice Musa?
What
Yeah.
is his name? What is the name of that prophet again? Sorry,
Uh,
Simba.
that prophet. I'm hoping that you're not going to get me into trouble. Hulu. Some people will not like this, right?
What
Some
is his
people do
name? What
follow
is his
him.
name again?
Apparently, do you know what? Apparently he actually has changed his name. So I think his real name must be Shingirai Chirume or something like, or Shingai Chirume.
Yeah, but
Eh,
what is the name that
So,
he's
so,
using
so the
now?
title, the name that he's now using is Emmanuel Makandio. That is
Yeah,
his
Prophet
Maxwell
Emmanuel
Chikumbutso
Makandiyo.
style of a name, of a fake name, is
Yeah,
Emmanuel
but
Makandio.
Simba,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but Simba, like I'm saying that now it is going to be very, very interesting. Interesting in the sense that this prophet, I mean, has been extremely dignified, to be honest, and we have been. I mean, many people have been sharing his videos from 2019. There's so many things, he prophesied about what is it, the four events that are supposed to happen. Talked about the visions that he has seen, and he has been very dignified when it comes to his contact. Let us be honest. He has been very, very dignified. Perhaps the most dignified, man of the cloth among the so-called prophets in Zimbabwe. It could be Ian Ndlovu. I think Ian Ndlovu has been extremely dignified in terms of carrying himself just as a normal human being. Not really known for liking expensive things, and even when he talks, you can see the environment of his church very ordinary, and the number of individuals inside the church not so many. He has been presenting himself as a very different kind of a religious leader. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about now this offer by Wicknell? What do you think about this? So, Blessing, let's see again, Simba, if Blessing is here. Blessing, what do you think? Prophet is gonna take it or not, but what do you mean when you say rings? What do you mean? You check those people, guys. Check those people. They've got rings in their hands, and those rings. Why do they have those rings? It's not something that is just normal or something. It's things that they've got rituals and stuff. What they're doing. When it, I mean, was it today that one of the cars that was donated, a Range Rover, Vogue, that was donated to Bishop Mutendi, crashed on his way to Masiko? Like I think they can enjoy the money, they can enjoy the cars, but it's for the expense of the Zimbabwean people. You understand? It's for the expense of the Zimbabwean people. Zimbabwean people are suffering. We are suffering. In fact, we are suffering. So if they are taking those things, yes, they can take them, but it's for the rest of the people who are in the streets, the rest of the vendors who are being chased away from the streets, the rest of the people who are dying in the clinics, who are dying in the hospital without medicine, the rest of the people who are being told to go and buy medicine. Well, medicine must be free. The rest of the children who are being sent away from school, well, school is supposed to be free. So they must enjoy it, but they must know that they are enjoying Zimbabwean people's money, the poor people's money. Because all this money, you can't just work for nothing and then you just That's where you stay, and as if it was a prophecy. And today we are getting to learn quite a lot that Bushiri was actually given that information, classified information about what is going on in our government by people who were actually working with him, who were Zimbabweans, who told him that VP Mohadi was actually
Well,
being exiled coming
Menad
to him.
Manua, who is an operative, who is an intelligence operative, had was his spokesman.
So you see, so we got to learn that, you see, he was actually told that, and he was told that he needed to donate a lot of money to Bushiri's church in exchange for healing. And today, when you look at him, I do not know how many people think that he got healed by Shepherd Bushiri, but it is amazing. It's an amazing story. If Ian Ndlovu is going to take these cars
Mm.
and the money,
Sorry, Hulu.
I
I
think
just
it's going to change a lot of
sorry,
things.
Hulu. I just wanted to briefly interrupt, please. I just want to let you know we've got Howard Nyoni on video, waiting to speak. So he's literally on video, and he if you would like him to say a word or two, and then maybe the Twitter Spaces can come back because he's been
No
waiting for a
problem.
while.
We
Thank you.
we can hear from Howard Nyoni, and then from there we can have Taxi Driver, my homeboy, who have just come to join us here. Howard
Wonderful.
Nyoni, I hope you can hear us. Please go ahead.
Oh, we can't hear you. You need to unmute. You need to unmute. You need to unmute. You haven't unmuted. You need to unmute. You must have a device or a microphone that is there.
Last time, Siva, because everything is
Oh
clear on my
dear. We
side.
cannot hear you. We cannot hear you,
I
Mr.
think
Yoni. We cannot hear you. We're failing to hear him. Can you hear him? Oh dear. Okay, I cannot hear him. What the people are saying.
Right,
Okay.
we cannot hear him, Simba. So we probably have to go ahead, right?
Okay, let's go ahead with others then, yeah. Thank you. And others are
All
coming in as
right.
well. Yeah,
So,
shoot it.
so welcome to the space for to Taxi Driver. So, Taxi Driver, this is not an easy topic, no doubt about it. Nobody wants to be told that this one is a fake prophet, this one is a fake ministry. We have talked about Kudata Gure being in the Seventh Day Adventist Church, and many of these things. We have seen Bishop Mutendi, we have seen Bishop Andrew Taunashe, stories, we have Walter Magaya, we have Madungwe, we have got Blessing Caesar, and we have Ian Love. Now he's being offered something. What is your take when it comes to that taxi driver? Please go ahead.
I'm used to speaking after you've gone, and their children's children, whose homes we may never visit, right? Whose countries we may never know. But anyway, Ulu, one is to understand the role of church in society, right? Church in society, if you go back into Roman times, it was to bring stability in society, right? I hope you can hear me. There's someone with the mic which is opened.
We can hear you. Go ahead. It is the host, Zimai. Can you please mute? Okay, go ahead, Sexton.
Yes. So I was saying to uncreate the role of that. Go back in the Roman times, right? Church was used to stabilize society. It's nothing to do with prayer. I know people get excitable with prayer. If you look at even the structure of church, one person in front of the masses lecturing and speaking to the masses while they just listen and they don't respond back. I've not known any church where you speak to me, challenge me. Right. Their role is to inform society, keep
collected, and also from time to time, church can be used as a medium of communication. When you start to shift the Overton window, if you've got something that we want people to take in, you pass it through church, because people in church are docile. They don't ask the question to the pastor, they just listen. It's a jump. You ask how high, you don't ask why. That's church for you. Similar to a military sort of structure. You don't ask your general, why am I jumping? You just jump, right? That's church for you. So the role of church and society and politics has to be understood. We see church even before the resignation, Mugabe church playing a key role through Father Konori, right? That's church for you. It plays a key part in the administration of a nation. Make no mistakes, they are part of it, right? So anything to try and remove church from the ongoings of a country would be unrealistic, in my view. Not only short-sighted, will be naive to do that. Go to Rome. Church wields a lot of power in society. Go to England. Church of England is at the center of the administration of this country. Right? Go to the US. Tell me a mile that you travel in the US and not see a church. Right? There are more churches than pubs in the US. Right? It plays a significant role in stabilizing society. And then I picked up a mic when you spoke about Bushiri and saying, I'm prophesying, I'm telling you what's happening in society, blah, blah, blah. That's a lot of nonsense, to be honest with you. He's part of the administration in any nation, that guy, or more predominantly in African nations. Right? You have to understand why church is a relationship with politics. They're just good at hiding it. Right? Church should have or has a relationship with the politics because of the numbers. They just don't get a tunnel division on church just because we know you're going to open the Bible. If you start speaking out of script, people just start to think, oh, you're crazy. Right? But from time to time, we see politicians morphing themselves into church spaces to try and push their message, right? I hear that the last apostolic faith mission, the guest of honor, last, was it Christmas or something? Yeah, Christmas, yes. Was a politician. Go and look it up in Bulawayo, right? With a gathering of over 6,000 people. I'll be foolish as a politician not to attend that gathering or even to seek audience with that church. It's normal. It's not normal not to expect politicians to participate in church activities. They will do, and they will do that because they are
taxi driver. The offer for the cars and the money has been given already. We have passed some hours and minutes now without hearing a word from the prophet Ndlovu. Do you think he's gonna take the money and the cars or not?
Well, that's exactly my point. The relationship between church and politics is purely transactional. They're just good at hiding it. They are deals. Look at Wakuti had a land dispute. How was it resolved? It was resolved as a political issue, right? Church has that appreciation. At least their leaders have got that appreciation that they don't exist in a vacuum. At least they need politics, and politics needs them, right? That's why you find even Pastor Chiwenga, that one who gets too excitable and starts talking to himself from time to time. He's involved in politics. He's just a politician who's hiding behind the church. He's a politician. Mohammed, what's his name? Malcolm X was a politician, moved into religion to try and win people, to advance his ideas. We have writing all over the world. Start your own church tomorrow. We'll find you in politics. It's very simple. Start your own church, start gathering momentum, huge numbers. The politicians will visit you. They'll be stupid not to visit you. And they'll be stupid not to give you some land to say build another thing for you.
All right. All right, Cheche. Zimai, in terms of.
Let me learn.
Okay, yeah.
I was saying it would be stupid for a politician not to give a church leader who has thousands and thousands of voters at his hand a car. Why wouldn't I? After all, it's good political strategy to do that. If I was a politician, I would amass all churches, bring them together, buy them four cars if they can drive all of them. If that wins me the vote. Remember, the end goal here is Island Hall is to win the vote and manage the perception and public perception. If you have the numbers, why not? We saw it when Geza had 2,000-3,000 people or 1,000. No one cared about him. When the numbers were now reaching about 60,000, you know the ripple effect. Yes, you start to understand. Oh, okay, this might be a problem here, although not a big one, just a thorn in the backside. We need to take it out and move comfortably. Not take it out as in killing somebody. No, I don't mean that, but deal with that responsive. As a politician, you would worry. Right? That's exactly the point, Ulu. Many thanks.
All right, taxi driver. So, Simba, the biggest challenge that we have here is that we are talking about the integrity of somebody that is classified as a prophet. And I have no doubt in my mind that if Prophet Ian Ndlovu is going to accept this gift, it is definitely going to change the perception that many other people had on him. If he is going to what you people gonna think? What do you think is going to be better for him? I mean, if you were Ian Love right now, what would you do, Simba? Would you take? Would you refuse?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hulu. I think if I was Ian Ndlovu Hulu, um, I, I would be faced with two decisions here. First of all, I would not take because I want to save my reputation as a preacher. I want people to continue respecting me and not to see me as a scrounger or as someone who is insensitive to the suffering of the people. Yeah, but then I am Dr. Ian Ndlovu, and my doctorate is dodgy already, and I've been offered here 150,000 US dollars. I mean, where would you get 150,000 US dollars? Where would you work and get $150 a bounty just like that, physical cash in your hands from nowhere, like it has just literally rained from heaven? Where would you get a car, a brand new car that's just been dished for you to that? And especially when you're called Dr. Ian Love, when you've got a doctorate. I mean, if Ian Love has traveled this far already, and to manage to succeed, to make people believe in him, that he is even the holder of a doctorate in some sort of academic discipline, and he succeeded, then why not? If I was Ian Lovell, I would take it. Excuse me, if I was, he's called Dr. Ian Lovell, by the way, isn't it, Hulu? Correct me there.
That is correct, Simba. So you're looking at it both ways. That if it has to do with reputation, it would be better not to tag. But if it has to do with his own personal life, and I mean, you are talking about he was a lecturer, by the way, at the National University of Science and Technology, so he is a learned person. Dr. Ndlovu, he was a lecturer
Are you
at
sure?
the National University
For
of
how
Science and
long was he a
Technology.
lecturer?
I'm not very sure for how long was he a lecturer, but he was a lecturer at the National University of Science and Technology.
What did he teach?
He was teaching, I think, if I'm not mistaken, economics.
And he preaches such nonsense, prophecies and some things. I'm sorry, I'm being
Well,
opinionated there. I
that is
wasn't
what he's
supposed to.
preaching. That is what
I
he's
would be
preaching.
interested if and someone who comes from the academic world and he's now a pity prophet.
A minister,
Maybe it's
yeah.
me. Maybe it's me. But I would be interested. Please drop me in the inbox, Hulu. I want to study him. What he actually learned. What he
No
studied.
problem. Yeah,
I am really serious at this, by the way, to find
all
out.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, you know what? Because people that I've seen who get into this kind of prophets, like prophecy and all that, they're fake. I mean, they're failures even in life. So they
Yeah,
go
we
into
definitely
prophecy.
agree with that.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, let's get
Yeah.
people. I didn't want to throw my opinion. It's not right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah, that's fine.
apologize.
No
I
problem.
apologize.
Keep it at that. Keep it at that, Simba. Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let me. I mean, welcome, Comrade Cactus. So, Comrade Cactus, here we are. I don't know if you are religious or not, but we have been talking about Kudakwashe Tagore, also being regarded as a leader in the Seventh Day Adventist, and many people, including myself, have started to think that the Seventh Day Adventist is not doing itself a good favor by creating itself with people like Kudata Gure, especially when they are always mentioned whenever corruption is talked about in our country. But here we have Dr. Ian. He hasn't been, mentioned. When it comes to corruption, he has always been a dignified gentleman, and having his own church, not so big, and always a man that looks like a very humble individual. But now Wicknell has thrown the two cars and $150,000 US. What do you think you would have done if you were Ian Ndlovu and this offer had been thrown in your face? Communicate.
Thank, thanks so much, Voodoo. This is a no-brainer, brother. Why do you have to think twice about this? Money is coming, the cars are coming. He has to pay, he has to collect. He should actually go with his family to collect those cars from Victor or whoever. And I'm sure it's another dealership. He should go with his family, go and fetch the cars, go and fetch the money. He built his church. Yeah. If you look at it here on this place, I mean, now we 69. I can see 69 people here. Who has actually picked money from the floor and returned into the owner? Let me count. A show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 0. No one. Yeah. So, yeah, no, that's the reality of the matter. Let me tell you one thing. Us as people, we are quick to judge. We love judging other people. We love to see measure in the next person other than ourselves. That's the biggest challenge that we have. Actually, it's a human nature, and we are always like that. Church, the way church, I agree with what Texi was saying. Church itself is actually an institution that was designed to tame society. So all these things that we hear in church, they normalize our behaviors in the society. It's more like like an injection that you get so that at least you behave in a acceptable manner in courts in society. So all these institutions, that's why you find that a lot of churches are sprouting here and there. A lot of people are going there. There's a lot of things that happens in churches. Some are criminal, some are just manipulation, stuff like that. Because there is nothing that really can be challenged in church. No one can challenge anything in church. What you read from the Bible, anyone's interpretation tells the day. That's the nature of church.
So at the end of the day, Prophet Ian Ndlovu and his wife, if they go and collect those cars, I guarantee you now, the only people that we can lose is only the excitable people on X. But the congregation would actually grow because we'd be having a fancy church. People would go there and understand that, you know what, there's improvements in the church.
Comrade Cox, sorry to interject here. And for those who are just joining us, thank you again for joining Zimai and joining me, Hulu at Pachiso Live. We are having this discussion on what do you think with Wicknell Chivayo now offering cars and money to to ministers of religion. And this time, Ian Ndlovu, somebody that has been known for being very humble. His church, if you watch on his YouTube channels, looks it doesn't look fancy, and it's somebody that has always been carrying himself in a very dignified manner. But now, something big is being thrown into his face. Now, I do not know, Comrade Cactus, if you are a religious person or not, with the type of submission that you are giving us. But think about this. There was also a time when Jesus Christ himself did meet the devil, and the devil offered the earth. He said, look, all this was given to me, and if you worship me, I'm going to offer you all these things. How did Jesus react to that? Do you know the answer? Comrade Curtis.
Definitely, I know the answer. But remember,
so how did Jesus react?
Jesus refused, but we know what we are talking about. What we are referring to here, it's a court of public opinion. We are people who are just here throwing our own allegations, interpreting the money as money that is stolen. No one has got evidence here to come and say the money that is using is stolen. It's actually a perception that we have as people. And that cannot carry the day, because we are just used to it as people, to just throw things at people, unchallenged or challenged, then we leave it there. If it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't stick, it doesn't stick. So at the end of the day, when we carry ourselves like that, it becomes so difficult for people to even take you seriously. I was at another space yesterday when one opposition MP was talking about how things are conducted in Parliament and stuff. It was saying there's a lot of lies that is coming out, especially in this social media era, that, you are hearing about someone getting arrested, but you are sitting just across that person in Parliament. But you are reading it on X with the conviction that someone has been arrested, is in police cells, but you are looking at that person is just 2 meters away from you. So at the end of the day, we have these narratives that are running in our society that are clouding people's proper judgment. So at the end of the day, when certain things happen, like these ones, I don't see any reason why Prophet Ian cannot take the car. I don't see a reason why Prophet Ian cannot even go and take that money to build his church. There is, the problem is we as people.
All right, Sifilani, just wait a minute. You are coming shortly. And Comrade Cactus, prepare to land for now.
Yes.
And so that people can rebut what you are talking about, right? Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let me just land. Well, the problem with this felon is now he's just distracting my chain of thought. But anyway, let me proceed. The prophet should go fetch the car, should take the car, build. I understand. Yeah, now I'm coming back. Like what you're saying, Ulu, to say he's got a humble change. There are some things that happens in life. You can be humble because you can look humble because I want to that. But when you get that money, when you get that 150,000, you modernize your church. People start seeing you differently. So being humble cannot be a measure. You can say someone is humble. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So we continue. Tafaza, you are also here with us, and Sifelani, you just fell off. Please come back on, Sifelani, so we can hear your thoughts on this topic. So Tafazo, I do not know how much you know Dr. Ian Ndlovu. This is a minister of religion that has been speaking and talking to people. If you go on his YouTube channel, he talks about seeing visions.
and talking about Zimbabwe and predicting, or let's say prophesying, what will happen in Zimbabwe. He already spoke from 2018 about the 7 years that will follow the leadership of President Edi Mnangagwa, and he say, which of course brings us to now 2025, and he talked about the challenges beginning of 2025, when there is a possibility that President Edi Mnangagwa would desire to extend his stay in power, and many people have been expressing gratitude to his testimonies in the church, and looking at him as somebody that perhaps has got a word that comes from somewhere, a higher power, and talking about things that are happening now. What is your take, Tafazo, before I go to more in terms of now, if you were Dr. Ian Ndlovu today, deciding on whether to take this money and cars or not, what would you do?
So I'm very familiar with Dr. Ian Ndlovu. I listen to the man, and not because I'm a member of his church or any church in particular, but just out of interest. Full disclosure, I am not a practicing Christian, so I don't care if he's right or wrong either way. But yes, I've given myself time to assess this man and see where he's coming from and all of that. And just based on my personal opinion and from what I've seen from him, I would be very, 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 very surprised if he accepts the offer that he has been made. I strongly believe that he will reject it, but time will tell. That being said, it's a very difficult question to say if I were Ndlovu, what would I do? Because I am not Ndlovu. And so we are in two very different circumstances. I believe if it was me on a personal level, if I were to take the offer that has been made by Wicknell, I would not be held at the same moral standard as a person like Ndlovu, who is the head of a church. It's very difficult to then go in front of a pulpit and start preaching about morality and empathy and all of those things when you have accepted an offer that you know is I'm very surprised hearing people here say, well, there's no evidence that Wicknell Chivayo's assets have been acquired fraudulently. I'm not here to cast aspersions. I'm not trying to get myself in trouble or anything, but I think even if you're not a person who stays on the news a lot of the time, we've all seen the incidents. There's the Quanta Solar incident and many other issues that he's been involved in. And quite honestly, it's very obvious that there are a lot of shady dealings that allow him to acquire a lot of these assets that he has. So, if I were in the position that Ian is in, and I want to maintain this reputation that you guys have been discussing of being a humble servant of God, of being a truth teller, of only working for the higher authority, the man in the sky who sent me to do whatever it is, the task that he has assigned me to do. If I'm solely focused on that and maintaining that, which is a reputation that is built over years, by the way, then I would not take the offer for obvious reasons. But if he has reached a point where none of that actually matters anymore, then he's going to take the offer. It's as simple as that. I think a lot of us here are speaking from a position of faith. I think that there are people who their hunger is not at a point where they can be bought. For certain people, they will decide if I just have a Toyota Aqua, if I have a two-roomed house that I can live in with my wife and my one child, and if I can get from place A to place B, and if I can have a full stomach, and if I can send my kids to school, that's enough for me. I see that a lot of people like this lavish lifestyle, and they think that because I would never reject this offer. Surely any sensible person couldn't reject this offer. Not everyone thinks like that, unfortunately. So, anyway, to sum up what I was saying, I do not think that Ndlovu will accept this offer. I would be very surprised if he does accept the offer. And if I was in his position, personally, I wouldn't take it for the reasons that I've stated. But we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, thank you.
Ulu, just one question and just one point, and then I'll even drop to the listeners. Right, trying to bring morals to church will not work. We know what happened with the Church of England, the Roman Catholic itself. They are at the center of controversy with child abuse, right? To be specific, child sex abuse, some of them, right? But do church members stop going to church? They go every day. So this issue about car, and I think people are just just a car.
Wait, taxi driver, wait there because we want people to debate with you. So we hear your points. Let us move to the other speakers so we can hear what they have to think. What they think about about the topic. So more to the space. We are talking here about minister of religion. A prophet, as he is. Called by others, but he is also a pastor. Leading his church in Zimbabwe. That is Ian Ndlovu. In the backdrop of Charles Charamba. Charles Charamba's wife was offered the same Fortuna, by the way, by the same Wicknell, and Charles Charamba we saw pictures and videos of Charles Charamba driving the car and enjoying the ride, and many people had a lot to say about that. Charles Charamba, remember, had even a song that he sang, discouraging people from accepting gifts. That are coming from fraudulent activities. And when the opportunity came for him to get the gift of the car, he gladly accepted. And others were saying perhaps he was singing for others and not for himself. Now, here is Dr. Ian Ndlovu. More. What do you think? Do you think he has been prophesying for others if he accepts this gift and not prophesying to himself? What is your take on that? Go ahead.
Thank you, Brother Hulu. I and hey, what's good, my brother Dick's driver. So when I think about this whole thing is this guy, I don't know, Ian Ndlovu. Ian Ndlovu got his so-called blessing from somebody in Uganda. His name is Samuel Kakandi. You can search this on YouTube and you can find out who Samuel Kakandi is. This guy is a false prophet. Samuel Kakandi, right? He's a false prophet. So when Ian Ndlovu gets his blessing from whenever he is, what do you think about Ian Ndlovu? You know, this guy always gives me prophecies in very weird ways, and we never see this guy after. And actually, the Bible says how you can tell a false prophet is, is from their fruits, right? How did he make fruits regarding the gospel? And the fruits are also mentioned in the Bible. So I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't believe in that thing, look, guy. I'm just saying this personally, right? But then if he accepts this, then
Don't speak so fast because I have an audience that is following what you are saying more, and we are following. I'm also following. I want to learn from others. You spoke about the man that blessed Ian Ndlovu, and you say the man is from Ghana. Did you just say that?
no, he was blessed from a guy. He was blessed by a guy. I don't know who you kind of.
From Uganda, sorry, from Uganda, and that individual you classify them as non-Christian at all.
Not that I want to be sued or something like this, but allegedly, yeah, allegedly he is a false prophet.
Okay, so and then you mentioned the fruits as well that reflect. I mean, what fruits were you talking about?
The fruits of the Holy Spirit.
Yes, I mean, so how can we identify that with I mean, Dr. Ian Goff?
Galatians chapter 5.
The what?
Galatians chapter 5 from the Bible.
Okay, yeah, but I'm saying that please emphasize on that so that our audience can be able to follow. So Mo is talking about the man that blessed Ian Ndlovu from Uganda, that he's somebody that he regards as bogus, and on the basis of that, he's talking about the foundation. Therefore, I think Mo, that's what you're talking about, the foundation of his ministry. That the foundation is not a solid foundation, and therefore the fruits.
Not that I read him as sorry. Not that I read him as bogus, but I'm just saying that he was he got his blessings from that God, and it will be best that he repents from all those blessings they received, and he will actually become a good prophet. Because I don't think that.
Just to add for the record, there is a picture. I think I have it on one of my gadgets here. There is a picture of Prophet Ian Ndlovu being prayed for by, Prophet Hubert Angel. And we all know with Simba, researching on the gold mafia doctrine, I think people have seen the activities of Prophet Hubert Angel, and they also have their opinions on him. Do you know that more as well? Have you seen that?
I haven't been following this guy because
when I a picture of Hubert Angel, Simba, if you can assist me, please. I'll also try to look at my gadgets to multitask a bit. There is a picture of Hubert Angel actually putting his hand on the head of Dr. Ian Ndlovu, praying.
Oh, absolutely. Let me look for it. I'll put it here.
Yes. So there is that picture more. So you can just continue.
Okay, Sakandabia was that.
Not to say that I want to be involved in some notes and everything, but I would say allegedly every time. Yeah, allegedly people believe you would handle the whole from. Well, obviously, right? And also, when it comes to Islam and Global, he just gives prophecies every time. And I personally haven't followed, so I don't know whether or not they come to fruition. But I know that when he preaches the gospel, because that's when you tell when somebody really is a prophet or not. What gospel do they preach when they stop with all the viral prophecies? Because nowadays we have prophecies about that
I think we can't hear you. We can't hear you properly. You're talking too far. Please try and get closer to your microphone so we hear you. Right?
I'm sorry about that. Okay. So let's see my band. Should I speak in English or China?
You can speak in English. Don't worry more. Go ahead. And we are just saying that make it a little bit more audible because your voice is a little bit restricted somehow. It appears like you're a bit far from your mic, or maybe you've got earphones on you or something like that. Yeah, and prepare to land so I can just go to the next speaker. Thank you, Mo. Go ahead.
Sorry, am I audible now?
It's okay. Go ahead, Mo. Thank you.
Yes. So just to conclude, these projects are not real projects that are fake, but we're now. They are leading to a lot of bad things that happen in Zimbabwe right now. And I'll say allegedly, propaganda, and the one that you mentioned, well, Gilbert, allegedly, that's fake. So when you mention all of these things, I'm a Christian, I would say that. But, all of these things, they just don't make sense. You repeat the
Right.
law.
We're really, really struggling here. Your voice is just,
Yeah, Mo.
Yeah. Just try to get to your microphone. Otherwise, there's no point. No one is gonna hear you.
More, it appears like you have got earphones on you.
Ish.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah, maybe let's move to the next person so that you adjust your microphone settings, because yeah, it's not going to be beneficial at all for you to be speaking and only you can hear your own voice.
okay, I'm sorry. I'll come back with different things. Yeah, you would need to remove the earphones more so we can be able to. I enjoy listening to I mean to that Jogas Moyo. Jogas Moyo, yeah. Jogas Moyo was breaking down and accepting in acceptance of the gift. She showed us how touched she was, and yet there's so many things about Wicknell Chivayo. And in the same vein, South African authorities reporting that Wicknell Chivayo's bank accounts indicate, criminality, and they have even reported that to the United States of America. And we have seen the bank accounts that were used by Wicknell to send money immediately from the Rainform company that was responsible for printing the ballot papers and materials for Zimbabwe's 2023 elections. What do you think, Tapio, when it comes to a minister of religion, especially the church, reading the same Bible as we all read, and now being offered money and cars by somebody whose background is very dodgy? And by the way, we have got pictures again of Wicknell Chivayo holding guns and all those kind of things and promising to become rich by hook or by crook, and he has achieved that. So, what do you think, Tapio? Go ahead.
I think in Kolo, yeah, nice topic as well. Myself, I just go back to basics. We have ethical basics that guide society. I mean, any society, no matter how simple that society is, we have certain guidelines with regards to ethics. So basically, criminality and everything else is something else. But when we talk about ethics, we're talking about institutional cohesion. We're talking about checks and balances. Because, for example, we have three pillars of our democracy. We have the judiciary, we have the executive, and the assembly, which is the legislature. These three, they can work together. They complement each other, but they are never supposed to collude. Why I say that is because if you look at religion, it's a very pivotal institutional oversight to moral oversight, for example, how they actually execute their duty as a moral oversight of society. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to give an honest and objective judgment on society or oversight on society when they have received gifts. You have professional bodies, for example, like Royal Institute of Surveyors. People might find it trivial, but do you know that it's very unethical to receive a gift when you're basically involved in some form of contractual agreement or you're doing some work somewhere and then you are given a gift? You have to decline or you have to declare it somehow. So this idea of gifts, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you being grateful for something. But I think put yourself in Dr. Ian Ndlovu's position. When he's called upon by society, for example, to condemn the same person, or maybe he's done wrong. I didn't say he's done wrong yet, or found to have done something wrong. But when he has to rise is the leadership, societal leadership, with the on the clock, the brother with the clock and the fake collar, dog collar. They have to send out and say, you are somebody. So we condemn it as an institution.
chinono when Christmas vango. Chinono when Christmas vango. Chinono when Christmas vango. Both trick people suggesting Chris has fled Jezza to Dubai. Both told Kamisa to resign from politics. Both Abhishek Chamisa saying he does nothing. Both told army to hunt down civil society. Chamisa to avoid political tension. Hope well, Chinono when Christmas vangwa. Hope well, Chinono when Christmas vangwa. Hope well, Chinono when Christmas vangwa. Both have spread Chris accusations that Chiwenga has decapitated his wife. Both Robbie shed blessed Geza. Both blinded public suggesting Chris has fled Jezza to Dubai. Hope well, Chinono when Christmas vangwa. Hope well, Chinono when Christmas vangwa. Hope well, Chinono when Christmas vangwa. Both spend time out maneuvering every newspaper. Both rubbish other people's education. Both boast about material possessions. Both trick people suggesting Chris has fled Jezza to Dubai. Both told Chamisa to resign from politics. Both rubbish shred Chamisa saying he does nothing. Both told army to hunt down civil society. Chamisa to avoid political tension. Hope well, Chinono when Christmas vangwa. Hope well, Chinono when Christmas vangwa. Hope well, Chinono when Christmas vangwa.
It's the time for my so can you blame that they have become content creators? Jesus is not there. They've become content creators. Do you think that is a cash blessing?
So the thing is, it's they're okay content creators. Let's not give the change anymore the platform to control people. Because if we now accept those politicians in change, they come and they wear our regalia in change, and then they start preaching their slogan in change. How is it okay? How is it okay to have a politician in change to speak about politics, not changed out?
All right, Blessing. Let me go back to Comrade Cactus. Comrade Cactus, you haven't told me if you are a Christian or not. And you know that story. After Comrade Cactus, I'll be checking up with my host, Zimai. And for those who are joining us again, thank you very much for joining Zimai and joining me, Hulu Equities Live. This, of course, is always about our people. It is about our country. And this is yet another day and another hour we congregate to talk about these issues. Right, Comrade Cactus, I'm not sure whether you're a Christian or you're not a Christian, but then there was a time when Jesus Christ himself entered the synagogue and he found them there selling. They had forgotten about prayer, they had forgotten about doing the right things, they had forgotten about the commandments, and they started, exchanging money in the synagogue. They started selling in the synagogue, and here we are. Dr. Ndlovu is faced with this. With this challenge to think, to sit and think: will he take the offer? Will he reject the offer? Now the cars are coming, the money is coming, but I have pinned up a post there, and everybody can be able to see it. Wicknell is actually somebody that once had to go to jail. As a punishment for corruption, and the story of Gwanda is well known by everybody. The story now that have come out of the rent farm and the ZEC tender is there for all to see. Moses Mpofu and Mike Simombe are in jail as we speak right now for trying to blow the whistle on Wicknell's fire. What do you think it takes for a minister of religion
I know you have said he must just take the money, develop his church, and become better. But what do you think it takes to become a minister of religion? To become a pastor, a leader of the church. What does it take, according to you, Comrade Cactus?
Thank you. Thank you, Ulu. How many commandments do you know of the Bible? Yourself.
You're asking me how many commandments I know. There are so many commandments, but
no, I mean
the most the one that called the 10 Commandments. You mean the 10 Commandments?
Yes, definitely. 10 Commandments. How many have you broken?
I know all of them.
How many have you broken?
I have broken. How many have I broken? Perhaps I can say several of them.
And what did you do after breaking them? You repented.
Of course, that is what the Bible says.
That's why you're still my. That's why you're still my friend. That's why I'm always coming to your space. So I can't hold you accountable. I can't. I can't disown you because at one point you did something and it always came back and stuff. But it's a very important conversation that we have. But I think we should all understand the nature of our church and how churches really lead societies, how they make sure that people live peacefully and harmoniously in their communities and stuff like that. They are a very important community and organization, especially when it comes to putting order in societies. But one thing that actually exists in our society, whenever politics is involved, a church is numbers, a community club is good numbers, and cooperative, my child, the tomatoes, nema audience. It's an organized, it's a cooperative, lead one. If that person is on your side, the whole community, no leader, will be on your side. So this is politics that's gonna be played. I mean, the only problem that I see in the opposition is just that no one in the opposition has that kind of money to throw around to make sure people are lured to a certain narrative or to a certain side. Yet there be someone animating toe to toe with Wicknell in the opposition. No one will be talking about it because they'll be using the money. Because the money has been commodified, has been used as a tool to make sure that who doesn't want money here? I even counted people who have returned money that they picked up on the floor. And the answer is Zuch, no one. So when you are offered money, that's how, unfortunately, that's how our society is. I mean, we live with money. Anyone who's telling you that I'll be comfortable in one room, driving a jalopy, a Peugeot 404 in this era, you'll be lying to you. It's only that money hasn't come across to him. The reason why people are in diaspora right now is because they are looking for means to survive. They are looking for money to survive. So if somebody would come to you and tell you that I'm fine,
they're not looking for money fraudulently. People are
no, I'm not talking about it. No,
trying to get that.
I'm not saying they're looking for money.
Ulu, put it this way. Right? If you go around people's houses right now, you will find company properties in their houses.
In your house?
Not in my house. I mean, I go around okay, here in the UK, if you go around the houses, scissors, green, hospital, gloves.
But do you know what? Do you know what? But do you know what? Do you know what, folks? Yeah. You know what, folks? On another note, right? On another note.
Let me just
Yeah. So
Comrade Cactus, prepare to land. Then I go back to the host, Zimai.
thank you,
Yeah,
thank you,
Comrade
thank you.
Cactus.
Yeah, thanks so much. I think going to look for votes in churches, to look for votes in even schools high schools where people are eligible to vote, it's a very crucial idea. When the president was going to Masowe 2013, people were laughing at him. But that's where the votes comes from. So we quickly forget. Tinoti like a comment yanambopa my brother Cynthia Kasukuri kutanga chitaura zvembudzi scheme. Ndichiti grapes are sour. It's a statement, when you don't have access to something, you want to see a certain thing in the next. And it's actually human to do that. But it's bad. Was opposition really, if there was a person who had that kind of money, everyone would be sharing it. Of course, there is no.
But you have never supported your brother Tendai openly, and you have never supported your brother openly. You have always wanted to be a private person, but now you are telling us that we do that. What do you mean? Is it not a contradiction in terms?
No, not necessarily. But you know what? You might think maybe it's a contradiction in a way, but it's not. Whenever, even when you were still campaigning for ZANU-PF in 2023, you would feed in a fertile ground of ZANU-PF, so that ZANU-PF will get votes. And it's very important. You be a DAO politician, not to feed into people, into bigger organizations, into my communities, and not resonate with what you want to do. Into my cooperative. Go capture a person and only the cooperative and pay them 200. Because you want to sing a narrative. That's politics at play. But for my brother Ian, for him, I actually, my brother Yeta first came to my inbox and he told me that he's going to buy me a crate if he takes the cars. So I want you to be a witness, Hulu. My brother is going to buy me a crate. It's going to happen.
All right, Comrade Cactus. So Tafata, you must be preparing to buy a crate. Is it a beer? Comrade Cactus?
It's a crate of his choice. He didn't mention, he just said the crate.
All right. Tafaja, you should not be doing that, right? You should not be doing that. If it is a crate of potatoes or tomatoes, that would be very nice, Tafaja, if you can be able to do that. So it was nice that you didn't tell me it's a crate of what. So, Comrade Cactus, it is going to be a good crate of tomatoes so that you can be able to have a very good dish, cook for yourself. Right. Okay. Let me go to Tafazo himself. Sorry, before Tafazo, we will need to go back to Zimai. So Simba, in terms of your experience, because you told me you also believe in God, and you are actually a Christian. That's what you told me, Simba. And I believe you. I've always sometimes heard you speak about faith and religion, and it is something that I think you have been holding dear to yourself while you have been carrying out research. Look, the work that you did on the Gold Mafia documentary is there for all to see. The amount of time that you spent researching on that, your love for your country, is something that we cannot even begin to imagine. You have always been standing with Zimbabwe, sometimes doing extraordinary things where you followed even Senator Douglas Montora to his hotel room because you wanted to expose certain things politically. It is incredible.
I think that one I'm gonna correct you. It's actually him who followed me, but then let's talk about it later.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Yeah. And many other things that you have done, to try to expose corruption in Zimbabwe, and at great effort and great cost.
money wise and everything, Simba. Now, what does it take, Simba, to become a minister of religion, to become a head of a church in Zimbabwe today, in a country where people are suffering the reality of lack of basics? And, we have got nurses and teachers earning $250 per month. And that is not enough, Simba. And people have started to nguava all over the place. And now you have somebody bringing in the money and the cars to you. And yet you already had a program in your church where you would ask people to raise money to fix the windows and all that. And now here is somebody now bringing 150,000 to your church. What does it take to be a minister who is principled, ethically upright, and true to love for country and society? Simba, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Hulu. Well, Hulu, the definition of a minister, to me, I would take a leaf from a passage that I once spotted when I was reading the original newspaper, the Planet Earth's original newspaper, which has since been compiled into 66 books. Um, some people call it the Bible. I think the Jews, they call it, is it the Pentateuch? What do they call it, by the way? And I know a large part of that is also in the Quran. But yeah, so there's a section that a man called Paul of Tarsus described in Acts chapter 20, verse 32 up to 36. And he instructed preachers that he had trained the standard of true Christian leadership. And these were his words. I'm going to try and quote him verbatim, and then while at the same time I'll paraphrase. And he said, "You have seen the kind of leadership and lifestyle I've lived. Take care of the flock of God." And he then goes on to say that I have not survived by any of your money. You are witnesses that myself and the men who are my workers have been sustained by my own hands, by the toil of my own hands. And so what we see is Paul of Tarsus describing what true Christian leadership should be. And then he says, look, this is how you're supposed to conduct yourselves as true preachers or pastors. And that is where he then says a passage that some Pentecostal churches then use to try and get money from people. He said, it is better to give than to receive. And so Paul of Tarsus was the modern day Strive Masiwa in terms of value, in terms of resource. And we're talking someone who was a tent maker. So you had a tent making business. If you start making tents today, even by today's standards, you become a millionaire because people want tents for camping, for all sorts, for even living inside. But we're talking over 20 centuries ago. And perhaps maybe this is why he wrote over three-quarters of the New Testament alone. And he actually developed and explained New Testament spirituality and theology in ways that were innovative, that you won't even see them in what Jesus Christ taught. A lot of it, he actually developed it. And he was an academic, but a spiritual academic who was able to develop whatever he was taught. And what I'm saying is the capacity to do all that possibly it actually came from the fact that he had the resource. And then there's something also that I want to state, that he never sold books like what we see a lot of these preachers today. They sell CDs, they sell DVDs, they sell books. No, he just wrote letters. And what he wrote, the letters that he wrote, perhaps because they were so loaded, there was so much sacrifice that was put in there. They had the impact of changing people's lives. And so from when I was growing up and when I was studying, and particularly in my 20s, and I discovered that a lot of the things that I'd been taught were not true. I had to study the Bible. I got to get a definition of what a true preacher should be. Should be someone who has got substance and someone who's not out there to take. They actually give, and they do it as a service, not as a profession, not as to survive. And I mean, please feel free to tell me what you think. But to me, that is a standard. And this is someone, if people believe that Jesus Christ is what was a divine, and he has a part to play in the history of humanity, and in making what spirituality is, and what really has made even modern day science, then you also want to understand that there's a man that he described. He said, look, this man is going to be my servant. He's going to be someone who's going to make things work. And so Paul of Tarsus is that type of a standard that I would go by, Hulu. But quickly, you asked me about the issue of poverty. Folks, this one is really dear to my heart. There is, if people are going to go by what is in the Bible, there is a certain line of poverty, or a certain line of sustenance, income, and the like, folks, that people should not pay taxes at all. That people should not even be expected to pay anything out there. That people are allowed scripturally to even walk Muma supermarket or in someone's field and just take whatever it is to eat. If we as human beings are going to be taking care of each other's brother, we've got to be each other's brother's keepers. And we need to understand that there's so much selfishness now. Yeah, I'm almost society now, that we don't see the other human being as equal as me or as you, and someone who is made in the image of the Creator. And so there is an instruction that is there in the Old Testament that actually says that if you wewe kana uchirima. Right now, I know there's some farmers on this space. I hope you're practicing this, folks, because it's important. While you are uchirima, you must leave some for people who are poor, for people who are passing by, because no one should be poor in this country. And folks, let me tell you something. I've lived in the UK. We've got 66 million people in the UK. UK is half the size of of Zimbabwe. So I need you to know that with 15 million people in that country, munofanira kutozara, you need to make as many kids, maybe 20 kids per person, like Mliso. Why? Because you are grossly underpopulated. There is enough resources in Zimbabwe to feed everyone and to make every person comfortable. A standard of life that is by far higher than Yeku Europe. The money is there. The Rhodesians, they demonstrated it. The money is there. But the problem that is happening right now is that the selfishness. We don't value right now your neighbor, Arara Asinachkaf, right now, and you're doing nothing about it as a community. So if people are going to be practicing, people like Wana Ndlovu, this is what they should be teaching on Sunday. And if they're not living this lifestyle, then their Christianity is fake. Because the first thing that I think everyone should live by is the kind of lifestyle that values the other person as a human being, as someone who's made in the image of the Creator. However, what is happening? Why is there poverty in a rich country like Zimbabwe? It is because of the teachings of Kamlesh Patni, who you see in the gold mafia, came from Kenya, and he even states in the gold mafia, he announces that he wrote a manual, a book on how democracy must work in Africa. He says that you must keep the people below a line of poverty so that they always keep wanting, and they will never have capacity to complain against you or to rise against you. And so it's a formula that he's put there. So when he's meeting the Mnangagwas, the Musevenis, the Ramaphosas, what Kamlesh Patni is doing is instructing them, look, you must tax people and you must ensure that the resources are spread in such a way that people who go to work, a person who goes to work never buys a car, never gets to cross that line to even buy a house. They've got to keep. And folks, let me tell you something quickly. This is where you see this the problem here we have. We, Isuzu Africa, we have not woken up. One of the people on this platform that we are in, I'm not going to mention the name Hulu, has risen to become the richest man on earth. And do you know on whose minerals, Hulu? Do you know on who? His father was being interviewed recently, and the father stated that he financed his kids through an emerald mine in Zimbabwe. That is in one interview. In another interview, he said it was an unregistered mine in Zambia. And then this is what he said. He said that the mine had to be unregistered because if it was registered, the black folks would have taken everything. So you need to understand here, the richest man on earth was financed nema minerals. Ekumusha kwenye village kwenye muri panapa space. Doesn't that show you about the capacity, folks, of Zimbabwe, of Zambia, of South Africa? This area is super rich. I shouldn't be in this cold island right now. I should be back home. Ndichizvara vana, ndisingashande. All of us here on this space, we're not supposed to be working. If the resources in this country were spread evenly, and that is where you see the hypocrisy of Christianity. Pentecostal Christianity, particularly, all Christianity really, most of it is fake because it is not pivoted on the principle of love your neighbor as yourself. So that is how I would measure a Christian rule. I'm sorry for going round in circles. Let's shoot.
Yeah, that's fine, Simba. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much, Simba. Taxi, just a moment. And we are going. Yeah, we are going to be bringing the curtain down on the space, but we are going to be giving an opportunity to all the speakers to give their final conclusions. As Simba was just talking right now, Simba, you made me remember in Chirezi when one of my headmasters passed on. He was my favorite headmaster. You see, he died after committing suicide. He
Sad.
plunged himself. With a panga into the stomach, and then and he died. His mind was no longer working properly. I don't know what was going on with his mind, but he was a very honorable man. And then he had written a verse, and I still remember it up until this day. He had written a couple of verses that he took from the book of, I think it's First Corinthians, and he had asked the deputy headmaster to actually read that. And what led me to remember the words of the verse from the Bible was because he had just given me a certificate for being the best, one of the best students in Mashingo province. Uh, After the competition, so I was in Form 1, and then he called me up, and then he gave me the certificate. I thought I was gonna get a hiding, and then he gave me a certificate, and then after that, after just 1 week, he passed on. And, that verse remained on me ever since the day that by the grace of God given to me, like a master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another man is building upon that foundation. Let every man that builds upon that foundation remember that there is no any other foundation that a man can build except that which was already built, which is Jesus Christ. So if any man is going to decide to build on that foundation using clay, using straws, using silver, gold, or precious stones, each man's work is going to be revealed on that day of the Lord through fire. And any man's work that is going to survive the fire, he shall get a reward. And that which is going to be burned up, he shall suffer forever. So that is a verse that came from the book of Corinthians. I can't even remember exactly which verse it is, but I remember the words, and I still remember vividly. Those wonderful words that he gave us, that the foundation upon which you build something is important. That is the reason why sometimes we argue with individuals whose foundations are very weak. So, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be bringing the curtain down, Simba. I think if that is okay with you.
No, I think
Just
it's
giving
so solid. I think it's solid. You know what, Hulu? These spaces should not stretch too long because so that they have got value. Kwete kuti tinenge tichizongotaura taura. Absolutely. I think taxi driver wanted to say something. Do you want to give him maybe 30 seconds, please, or a minute? Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah, that's fine, no problem.
Thank you,
So,
Simba.
taxi driver.
Yes,
Go ahead.
thank you, Simba. I wanted to concur with your last statement around the church as not being truthful, not serving its purpose, in my view. And I will treat this as my closing statement. If church was real, if church had nice people around it, as the Bible intends that it is, the Pope would not be moving around in a bulletproof vehicle. The Duke of Canterbury would not have MI5 guarding him, right? So that goes on to tell you the nature of church and what it advances in some cases. It advances ideas that are not holy, if you want to put it that way, or that advance society in its purest sense. Church is part of the leadership structure, and they should get the flag for it, in my view. I see, in my view, I'm not a Christian myself, I'll tell you that for now. Although I grew up in a Christian church and school and all that kind of stuff. I think church trembles on the weak, the poor. It also takes advantage of the vulnerable in society. They go and give money, all this kind of stuff. People are being given bricks and being sold bricks, being sold Vaseline, and you're told, this is anointed. Well, come on, it's something made by Olivine Industries or through a scientific method. Nothing to do with church. But they take it because they've just said some words to it. It's now holy. You have to buy it. And come on. It's just, I don't know, taking advantage of the vulnerable. And I think churches, in some cases, should be banned where they are unruly. We've seen, what's his name, Ubedenjo in a helicopter, drives the Maserati. I've got no problems with that. They're very clever. It's business model. I've seen Makandiwa wears expensive suits, drive very expensive cars. I've got no problem with that. But who's funding all these things?
We cannot hear Taxi anymore. Simba, can you still hear Taxi? Yeah, we cannot hear Taxi anymore. Reverend Sivanda, it will be very nice to hear from you. I'm trying to bring you up. Unfortunately, your network is not is playing games. Reverend Hussein Randa, if you can hear me, try to fix your network so that we can be able to hear a word from you. I think that will be also a very nice thing. Taxi driver, you fell off there. And for the other speakers, let me just go to Nosy. Nosy, welcome to the space. Well, we are talking about. Can you hear me? Yes, we can now hear you, Reverend Husseini. And you can hold it a little bit. We have got Sister Nosy with us. Yeah, you can hear me. Don't mind. Well, what I wanted to say is that all right, we must make broad strokes about the church. Okay. Because I think when we're dealing with individuals, it's different when we're dealing with the body corporate. I think the church has been in the forefront of the struggle for justice in Zimbabwe, standing and speaking for poor people. I think we've seen even pastoral statements and action that the church has taken. I also think whether Pastor Ndlovu accepts the gift or not, I think the key issue is he's conscious and listening to what God is saying about this particular context. I don't know the context for the gift and other things, but I think the other key issue, we need to give him the space and maybe for him to really think through it. Reverend Sivanda, can you hear me? To make sure that he thinks through the whole issue and makes a decision that is balanced. I think there are many challenges. If you think about Highlanders and Dynamos, they are both being sponsored by Tagwire. Is that correct or not? So you can see the way in which Zimbabwe is in a dilemma. The context we are in is very find itself in that space as well. All right. I'm not very sure whether Reverend Sivanda can hear me. Reverend Sivanda, can you hear me? Reverend Sivanda? All right. Nosy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I think there is a bit of a problem with Reverend Sivanda's network, but I think we did hear what he is talking about. And I think one good point that he mentioned now is the issue of Budakwa Shetagure being the sponsor of both Highlanders and Dynamos. Very true. So, Nosy, welcome to the space. And we are here now, Nosy, where I think many people who associate themselves with Reverend Ndlovu, they know him as a man who is very down to earth and of sober mind. He's apparently a former lecturer at the National University of Science and Technology. But the money has been offered, the cars have been offered. If you were Reverend, if you were Dr. Ian Ndlovu, what would you have done? So, Reverend Husseini, you are now on the listeners. I think we can just tell you that we did hear your submission. Thank you very much. You could not hear us, but we could hear you. So we will be responding on your submission. I think you can hear us now that you are on the listeners. Nosy, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Hulu. Well, I don't know what if I was Ian Ndlovu, I would, because I'm not Ian Ndlovu. I don't know what his moral compass is, what his values are. So I really don't want to comment on his behalf or to try and think or process what he would have done because I don't know what he's looking at. However, for me, I just wanted to make a comment because I saw some comparisons that were made here that were really quite surprising to me. Firstly, I'm not a Christian. I think maybe I need to put that out there. I'm not a Christian. Christian values really don't hold much to me because, in my experience, it's values that are written on paper but barely practiced by all Christians. In fact, it's very difficult to find a Christian who's got integrity including some of our leaders. In fact, if not all our leaders, including both in the ruling party and in the opposition party, it's including those who claim to be pastors themselves. They lack integrity. So for me, Christianity is something that is just something that people do every Saturday or every Sunday or whatever day they want to speak for God, they want to believe, act like they are representatives of God on earth and etc. etc. That is a whole other argument and topic outside of this. But for me, it was interesting as well to hear someone compare Wicknell Chivayo to the devil. I think that was you, Vulu. And you said, Kuti, why would somebody, that the devil even took Jesus and tempted him. And in this case, you're talking about Ndlovu being tempted by Wicknell Chivayo. And then I just asked myself, why would you make a comparison of the devil and Wicknell Chivayo? Because the Wicknell Chivayo is clearly a human being, and the devil is, from those who believe in the devil, is a spiritual being. So why compare the two? Why not come down to earth and compare Wicknell Chivayo with another criminal in the Bible? And I wrote that in the comments. Why not compare Wicknell Chivayo to Zacchaeus? I think Zacchaeus is the perfect character to compare now Wicknell Chivayo, because people claim that Wicknell Chivayo Litsotsi, he's stealing from the country's coffers. Is that not the same thing that Zacchaeus was doing? And who went to Zacchaeus' house and stayed at Zacchaeus' house and partook of his thief loot? Who did that? Was that not Jesus? So if Jesus can accept from Zacchaeus, why can't this pastor take the goods from Wickenow?
No, can we engage a little bit on that one?
Yes, let's do.
All right. I take it when you say that, why did I compare Wicknell to the devil? I take it. Let me go with with your choice of Zacchaeus. So Zacchaeus, after meeting Jesus, what he ended up doing was he ended up understanding the word of God, and he decided to go and sell a half of all his wealth so that he could give back that which he had stolen. So I'm not very sure whether your example of Zacchaeus being compared to Wicknell in this, in that similarity is going to work, because what it actually means is that if Wicknell was going to be compared to Zacchaeus, he should actually go and sell everything that he has gotten through fraudulent means and give it back to society. Is that the direction that you suggest?
Well, yes. It could be a direction that he can take after interacting with all these men of God. It could be, except that there's one problem. These men of God are not Jesus, are they? I don't see how the selling of half of his property and all of that applies. But we would hope that he reforms if his wealth is gotten by ill means. I've got no idea how Wickenow makes his money. That's not really my area of interest. But he's alleged to be a national thief. So based on based on that, then we would say Kuti Zacchaeus would be a better comparison. Saka maybe, who knows, maybe Kusasa uza penduka laya kuge and sell half his property, and give it away or whatever. Or maybe this is his way of selling off the property by giving away his ill gains, distributing them in cars, which really I don't agree with. But it's his choice, his money, his choice. It's neither here and there. Another interesting comparison that I had here, Hulu, today was the comparison of Tagwirei and Ndlovu. I don't know how the two compare because Ndlovu is a self-proclaimed man of God. He owns a church, he leads a church, etc. Tagwiri on the other side is not different from yourself. He's just an ordinary church member. You know, well, he's an elder, but he's still an ordinary church member. He's got no influence whatsoever on the Seventh Day Adventist Church. He's a guy who preaches on Sabbath morning. So how are we comparing him? Ian. I'll be interested in knowing that. Do you have any comments on that?
Basically, what happens is that when somebody is an elder, he's already a leader in the church and has influence in that particular church. So whether you call them a pastor or you call them a prophet, you call them an elder, I think many will probably agree that they all have one thing in common, that is they are leaders in their respective churches, and on the basis of that leadership, I think it can as well be comparable. Between and among them.
Yeah, this is where it's different with SDA Church, because Iwewe Nasi, you can get baptized in the Seventh Day Adventist Church, and 2 years from now, that your church, your local church, then votes you in to be an elder. You don't go to Bible school for it. You're not trained. You're not a pastor. You can't move from one place to another. You've got no influence on the church itself.
Did Pastor Ian Ndlovu go to Bible school?
I don't know, but I know.
Yeah, that's why we can equate them.
No, we can't, because that one is a pastor, isn't he? He's a man of God. Tagwire is not a man of God. Is somebody who was.
How do you define a man of God?
He's elected. So that's what I'm saying.
No, I mean, how do you what is a man of God?
Well, he's declared himself a man of God, a man called by God.
But how do you define a man of God?
How do I find them?
How do you define a man of God?
In inequality, it's just it's people who call themselves men of God.
Yeah, I mean, what is your definition of a man of God?
Because I don't have.
Yeah, but you just say that this one is a man of God, and this one is not a man of God.
He calls himself a man of God. He's a pastor. He's a leader of a church. He's formed a church.
Yeah,
on the other hand,
Tagwire is also called a man of God.
No, he's not, Hulu. Tagwire was elected by his local church.
Yeah, but then if you say if you say Tagwire is not a man of God, then it means you know the definition of a man of God.
I know the definitions in the Seventh Day Adventist Church, and I know how they work.
Yeah, so but I'm asking you.
He's not a pastor.
I'm saying if you say somebody is a man of God, and then you cannot define what a man of God is, then how can you then compare or fail to compare the two? You just said somebody is a man of God, and I asked you, how do you define a man of God?
He self-declared he is a man of God.
Yeah, but what does that mean? What does that mean? What does it mean to be a man of God?
A pastor, I would think. Tagwire has never declared himself a man of God. Neither is he a pastor. He's a person who was elected church. Elder.
All right. No, he's still talking. Tatenda, all right, so this is what we are going to do. Let me see. Maybe I have to drop Tatenda. Tatenda cannot so let me drop. My bad. All right. So I've just dropped the Tatenda because he cannot mute his mic. He's making noise. So Nozi, it's okay.
you can because I think people who are here on the speakers can be able to respond quickly though. So you can prepare to land. You have stated what you have stated. People can respond to to your submission. Thank you. You can go ahead and just prepare to land.
Thanks, Hulu. So, in conclusion, as I learned, what I simply have to say is that we need to stand on the sidelines and watch and see what Dr. Ndlovu's decision is going to be, how he justifies it, and etc. Each person has got their moral compass. I think that is also not correct to say Kuti Church is a place, is a poor organization. There's nowhere in history where I found churches to be poor. Churches are filled with wealthy people, and the history also has shown us churches not holding their members accountable for the monies they make, or holding people who donate or contribute monies to their organizations and asking relevant questions. I hope that maybe in this whole story, perhaps we can have reformed churches, and churches that are now going to question people who bring their money on Sunday. They need to ask you, Hulu, this money, how did you make this money? Is this money clean? Did you steal it? Did you work for it? How did you get that money? We need people who hold people accountable. We need people who are going to stand with integrity. And my hope is Kuti Ian makes that decision. If he goes the other way, well, he's just a typical Christian, isn't it, at the end of the day? So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Nozi. We appreciate that. Comrade Magwenzi, welcome to the space. And then Charles, welcome also to the space. We have just heard what Nozi had to say. What is your response to that, Comrade Magwenzi?
Hello, good evening, Guru.
Hello, go ahead.
Yes, my response, let me quickly just talk about these guys who call themselves men of God. It is very clear, and it is very, very clear, should I say, that everybody can see that these guys, they are just using the Bible to benefit from items that are being looted from our state coffers. There is no way you can say Ndlovu is a man of God if he receives a gift that has been stolen from the sweat and labor of the Zimbabwean people. The Zimbabwean people are suffering, and how would you explain it? If anyone uses common sense, if anyone uses conscience, how would you explain splashing out money to people who are already rich, while the poorest of the poor are suffering? You know, more often than not, what Chivayo is doing boggles my mind. I don't understand whether he's getting this money cleanly or not. But my understanding from all the exposés which were made, Chivayo is a criminal. Chivayo, Mnangagwa, his cabal, they are criminals. Tagwire, it's unfortunate that he is smearing the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I don't know whether I should use this word, but he is more or less like a Satanist. These guys are plundering the economy of our country. And now, I don't know whether I still have more ways to say, but honestly, answering from what my sister was saying, the word man of God does not apply to these guys. It does not apply. Because if somebody purports to be a man of God, where did he get that anointment? The first speaker who spoke earlier during the early stages of this show
was even talking about rings, which are always in the hands of these guys. Okay, if we go back to the principles of Christianity, their gospel is always about prosperity. They don't even preach about the second coming of Jesus. They don't. What they know is to cow people their hard-earned cash. This other guy was praying for bricks. I still remember there was this other guy praying for oranges that we have given you, health. You can actually see the Makandiwas, the Ndlovus, this gold mafia the ring leader. These guys are fake people, and unfortunately, ZANU-PF is using them. Let me not say ZANU-PF. They are being used by the cabal of Mnangagwa. And if you go back during the time of missionaries, when the missionaries came into Zimbabwe, there is this saying that do you know that one missionary was used to make sure that he would quell any resistance from African people. So the British education that Zimbabwean people received, Christianity that Zimbabwean people received, is the one that is coercing them to be so docile and passive. That's the reason why we are poor. We are poor because we are so docile. We don't know what belongs to us. We don't know what is good for us. And we will die poor because of these thieves and these cabals. I mean, that's my submission. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen,
this is hot.
Just that we make it short. We see, because the host had indicated
Who was speaking just now?
Yeah. Simba, yeah.
So I was asking who was speaking just now?
It is Comrade Magwenzi.
Okay, yeah. I was saying that was really hot. I'll need to tag him to that.
All right, thank you, Comrade Magwenzi. Let us go to Charles, and then we go to Tatenda. And please make it short, guys. Make it short. Charles, come through. Charles, are you able to speak? Tatenda, go ahead. Okay, yes. Charles can speak. Yes, Charles, welcome to the space. How are you today?
I'm fine, and yourself?
Yeah, we have this story. Ndlovu is now on the spotlight. What is your take?
Indeed, I want to air up my view over the issue of how these looters, the likes of Wicknell, Chivayo, and Kampan, are trying to manipulate the church, especially people. They look forward to their pastors and the men of God to be the ones that direct them on how to manage their life, especially people they are living in a very merciless life, whereby people they cannot even express themselves or try to air up what they are going through because of dictatorship that is in our own country. So mostly, if the men of God will take the gift, there's a lot of questions that are going to be in our minds as the whole Christians trying to understand exactly that do they mean the word, or it's about money or to earn a living? Because mostly if you check what these Chivayo company are doing, mostly they are trying to manipulate the people who act as the voice of the voiceless. So mostly you find that people, they will be looking forward to their pastors, the singers, and all our people that are out there to represent their grievances, but people they are left without anyone to take their side. So the best way they are going to manipulate the country as a whole is through manipulating those people who speak on behalf of the people. So it's about ethics. Unfortunately, in our country, there's no longer, mostly people, they've decided to not respect their ethics over the issue of money to earn a living, which is very unfair to an extent that some other generations that we are bearing, they will end up not knowing exactly where are we coming from, where are we going, because economically Zimbabwe is now messless, but it is a gifted country that is having more resources, rich intellectuals, but exactly where to pave to express yourself is now a challenge. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Charles. And it is wonderful to have you today. I think it's the first time that you have spoken on a show that I'm co-hosting, and right, Charles?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that's very nice. It is very nice to know that you are there and speaking for your country, Zimbabwe. Thank you for loving your country, and we truly appreciate that. Martin, you have come through as well. Tatenda, let me say sorry. It's Tatenda first, then Martin, we come to you. Tatenda, go ahead.
Okay, all right, thank you. Apologies for last time. I wanted to ask for a chance. I was running low on battery. Sorry for that.
You were making noise to tender, but anyway, thank you. Welcome back to tender. So, Ndlovu, the story continues. If he takes, what perception do you think people are going to have on him?
First of all, Ndlovu had a prophecy about Wicknell before, and he was being asked by the parliament regarding the issue. So it's not the first time he's having issues with Wicknell. He once gave a prophecy about Wicknell that he's going to be glazed. We can all go on YouTube and listen to him prophesying about Wicknell. So it becomes very tricky now that he prophesied about Wicknell and now he's being given gifts. The issue of the church and
politics. Sorry, Tadenda, what did he prophesy about Wicknell again? Just say it again. Sorry.
He said that he saw a vision of a man in prison. So Wicknell was being summoned in parliament, you all remember. So he said that what he is being accused for is just a tiny cog in a big machine. That was his words. And he said that the person who's trying to prosecute him is just a full stop in a book, something like that. But we can all go on YouTube and we listen to that. We can all type that Ndlovu Professor on Wicknell. You can even try to search, pray for a prominent man in Harare Province. I was just watching it on the TV there. So hello, Prophet Ndlovu, what a prophet.
Wait, somebody is talking. Yes. We'll give you a chance. Okay. Yes, Brad. We'll give you a chance. You can mute yourself for now.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, pleasure. Mute yourself. Doesn't make it short. Just trying to summarize. Thank you.
Okay. So he once gave a prophecy, and now we see gifts. And then, as an economist, we have never seen him talking about corruption in the country, leadership crisis. All he talks about is the prophets. And we all know that corruption is an issue. A lot of things have been said, tenders being awarded without parliament approval. As an economist, you understand good governance. I also heard about the Tagire issue. Command Agriculture started long back. Tenders were awarded and paid before the service. And then we have got pastors for ED, SDA. And all these names are coming out in the body of the church when we have got issues like bad governance, tenders being paid without a service offered. So I don't know.
All right, Comrade Tatenda, we cannot hear you anymore. Let's go to Miss Beth. You can speak now. Please make it quick.
Yeah. Yes, just wanted to talk about, look, with all those Wicknell Chivayo, with all those prophets and everything, I think Zimbabwe, we have a problem right now because at the end of the day, there's no one in Africa who has done any AI, because I'm looking at Strive Masiwa. I'm so proud that an African person can bring an AI to even talk about it. And then you guys are stuck with all this Wicknell and ZANU PF, and we're still stuck. How much does it take to get rid of these people? Because they don't see. Look, if you look at China right now, advanced, they advance their own people. I'm so disturbed with what Zimbabwe does, not to recognize its own people in what talent they have, in what they can do to provide to the world. It's all like it's a disturbance. Now, moving forward, I want to know because right now we don't have a leadership and we keep talking. There are so many stories. I listen every day. I listen. There's so many stories. They have like talk show, like blogs on the internet. It could be Uncle Gerard and everything. What are we doing to uplift our own country in Africa to face all those things? When are we gonna wake up? We have so many talented people. Great Zimbabwe. Great Zimbabwe was not built by just ordinary people. It wasn't built by just ordinary people in Africa. It took a talent. And those are the talent that are manifested everywhere. And then you people don't recognize it. It's a disturbance. There's no Great Zimbabwe. If you look at, go back to Great Zimbabwe and see the stone structures that are there. It's not in West Africa, it's not in East Africa, but we built it.
The previous speaker from what you are saying. But I want to go back to the issue of land law. You know, yeah. Myself, I know in the world there are too many religions. There's a Christian, there are Muslims. But see,
I'm not talking about Muslims. I'm talking about our own.
I'm not your person. I'm not your person.
Strive Masiwa didn't leave that country just because.
I'm given a chance to speak. Okay. Right? Yeah. Gifts and callings of God are without repentance. And for landlord to prophesy and to make an assumption and to tell something that will happen in the future is not something that which is something like it's only a gift that people can be given even with it's a gift of prophesying, which is like just like a gift of being a mechanic or an ass. So, but for an issue that he supports that view, we know he supports that view very well. That's why when he given some cars, he can make a better assumption on this prophecy towards ZANU-PF. And he is a man who likes things in his church. So he's not a just man. So the other thing is, right now we should focus on Zimbabwe, how we should move around. Zimbabwe is being badly managed.
pinned up on the top there, if you can see, Dr. Ian Ndlovu being prayed for by Hubert Angel. And also, you can see Shepherd Bushiri and Hubert Angel standing alongside Wicknell Chivayo himself. So you can just look up on that, which has been posted by Zimai, so that you can get the sense of the individuals that we are talking about
The
here.
last person, the
It
last
is,
picture that I wanted to upload is one of Hubert Angel with Maynard Manyor, and Maynard Manyor announcing that Hubert is his mentor. Go ahead, yeah.
yeah. So we just want our people to be aware of the fact that this is a developing story, and we will be following up on it and observe what is going to happen with Dr. Ian Ndlovu. Without a doubt, when you look at his association, with people such as Hubert Angel, you would expect that he should accept the gift because Hubert Angel himself, together with his associates, including Shepherd Bushiri, are people who would certainly appreciate gifts such as these ones. But then, is he going to be different? Like I said earlier, that we have seen in his preachings that he looks like a very humble individual, but his associations with Hubert Angel speak, about more to it that one can probably meet the eye. So, Zimai, thank you very much, Simba, my friend, for the opportunity that we can be able to host this show and be able to talk to fellow Africans and fellow Zimbabweans. Zimai, back to you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for a brilliant job tonight, Hulu. You've really, gotten all contributions from different views, and people have expressed themselves freely, and that is really the kind of environment that we want, folks, where people can speak, and no one is shutting you down, no one is blocking you, no one is telling you that your view, your opinion doesn't matter. And this is what really shapes our country and our community. I'm hoping we can have more of these sessions. Unfortunately, we didn't announce this space, we just started. I don't know what you folks think. I felt that this was really high quality discussions. These are the kind of discussions that we use in our work, in our investigative journalism. We were doing these type of in-depth relationship mapping, conversation mapping, but particularly where you're literally doing audit trails. It's not just about asking about Ian Ndlovu. It's about asking about the numbers, the money that he's getting. Where did it come from? Who gave him? What is the agenda? And where did that money? Who was the, or who is the real owner of that money? And folks, I think what has been important here also has been the the relationship mapping at the level of connecting all the dots here, connecting Hubert Angel with Ian Ndlovu, with Wicknell Chivayo, and just showing that these are just one and the same thing. These are one of the same people. These are influencers, and that's what they are. These are their foundations, and yeah, much appreciated. Also, there's a brother who gave a bit of a lengthy talk around the history of the country, how Zimbabwe was given birth, how the country came to be, who was behind the setting up of the borders that now separate the Shonas of making them, others become Mozambicans, others become Rhodesians, separating the Vembas and the Tongas on a borderline along the Zambezi, and the other tribes also down south, and folks, and making us to be this country. And I also found, lastly, I also found it to be quite, can I say, all encompassing, the thought provoking analysis around poverty, and what really is making individuals, or men and women, become hyper professionals in the arena of religion, and when they're not even ministers of religion, but it's all about power and control, and controlling a community, and then subjugating them, keeping them under, so that they never cross a certain line. Folks, It's been great. Hulu, thank you. I need to shut. But thank you so much, folks, for coming today. And we look forward to tomorrow that we can have another discussion tomorrow. Those who came late, you can see the pictures that we've placated here. These show you who exactly Ian Ndlovu is, as people are asking. He's a Christian, he's a man of God. He prophesied accurately last time. Oh, he was a lecturer, and the like, right? But, they're always V11s most of the time, if not all the time. My V11 ndo anotibatsira kuti izive kuti munhu ndiani, asiriso here. Thank you so much. You look. But you know what, folks? Lastly, this is not a bashing session for anyone. So I'm inviting Mr. Ian Lovu. Please, can I find any number and number, but telling him to contact me because I'd like to interview him over this just to hear. Because there are some people who actually believe in him, and it's important in terms of accountability for him to engage with the community. Folks, thank you very much. We're going to be shutting now. Thank you so much. Cheers, folks. We're done.
Both tricked, people suggesting Chris has fled Jezza to Dubai. Both told Chamisa to resign from politics. Both rubbish at Chamisa, saying he does nothing. Both told army to hand down civil society. Chamisa to avoid political tension. Both have spread Chris accusations that Chiwenga has decapitated his wife. Both rubbish shed blessed Geza. Both blinded public suggesting Chris has fled Jezza to Dubai. Both spend time and maneuvering every newspaper. Both rubbish other people's education. Both boast about material possessions. Both trick people has fled Jezza to Dubai.
Are you studying? We've ended. You want to say something?
From politics.
Hospitals are not way could be better. I don't know what's gonna take to have the removal of people that don't see things that make sense for our own people. They are so materialistic. Materialism has been the downfall of the ZANU PF.
Yeah.
Okay, because in China, if you have corruption so much, they will deal with you, you'll be dead. But we don't have that aspect in our African people. We don't have that aspect. People are happy, no. And then maybe your relative is dying in one of those hospitals. Maybe there's a provided instrument that can be given to help them. But no, even if they go anywhere else, they don't see that. Okay? coming to the end of the day, looking at if I have to look with our history as a people of Zimbabwe, looking at our history, Great Zimbabwe was constructed under Southern African region. They have systems. They have systems that worked. Okay? China is following the systems that they worked for them. They built the Great Wall of China, right? The Chinese built the Great Wall of China. They have their history. We have our own history.
Wow. Ndlovu, thank you so much.
We have our own history. We have our own history. Almost going to, okay. Great Zimbabwe, even the white people are saying that it's not even constructed with our own knowledge as a people. Okay, that's what they've done to us. But now we know we are talented people. We can do away with the nonsense. It doesn't make sense. Our nation could be better than what it is. We have people in institutions that don't know what they're doing, but they're so greedy, they don't see anything. The liberation struggle was fought because they were fighting white people, but under us as Africans, we know the difference. We know that, look, under us, we also had our own systems that protected our people to make it a functioning economy.
And yet we're not.
Yes.
We're not protecting our own.
That's where we are stuck. And then no one speaks anything. We are intelligent. We can do better. In the southern region of Africa, we can do better. Because at the end of the day, this should not be happening right now. It should not be happening at all.
Wow.
Okay.
And let's
give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Can I give you an example?
I wanted to end the space because I just need to get onto the road.
I know that. Yeah. I'm sorry I joined the space. It's too late. I'm coming from I didn't know that you're having a space. I have no idea, but I'm just trying to make it known that we as a people deserve better. We have systems that work. If people can just listen and just look at it, that we had systems that worked. It's not ZANU-PF. It
should motivate enough. And let's end. Drop me a message in the DM, and then Mangwana, before we go live, I will send you a message at what time we're coming back, so that we could actually start with you.
To work even Strive Masiwa is meeting people and all this, but at the end of the day, this is ridiculous. It's gone too far.
Wow. Let's catch up tomorrow, guys. Cheers. Thank you so much.
Well, you don't know when Christmas van go. Oh, well, you don't know when Christmas van go. Oh, well, you don't know when Christmas van go. Both trick people suggesting Chris has fled Jezza to Dubai. Both told Kamisa to resign from politics. Both Abishet Chamisa saying he does nothing. Both told army to hunt down civil society. Chamisa to avoid political tension. Hope well, you don't know when Christmas vangwa. Hope well, you don't know when Christmas vangwa. Hope well, you don't know when Christmas vangwa. Both have spread Chris accusations that Chiwenga has decapitated his wife. Both Robbie shed blessed Geza. Both blinded public suggesting Chris has fled Jezza to Dubai. Hope well, you don't know when Christmas vangwa. Hope well, you don't know when Christmas vangwa. Hope well, you don't know when Christmas vangwa. Both spend time out. maneuvering every newspaper. Both rubbish other people's education. Both boast about material possessions. Both trick people suggesting Chris has fled Jezza to Dubai. Both told Chamisa to resign from politics. Both rubbish threat Chamisa saying he does nothing. Both told army to hunt down civil society. Chamisa to avoid political tension. Oh well, Chino no when Christmas Vangwa. Oh well, Chino no when Christmas Vangwa. Oh well, Chino no when Christmas Vangwa.
Suggesting Chris has fled Jezza to Dubai. Both told Chamisa to resign from politics. Both rubbish at Chamisa saying he does nothing. Both told army to hunt down civil society. Chamisa to avoid political tension. Both have spread Chris accusations that Chiwenga has decapitated his wife. Both rubbish blessed Geza. Both blinded public suggesting Chris has fled Jezza to Dubai. Both spend time and maneuvering every newspaper. Both rubbish other people's education. Both boast about material possessions. Both trick people suggesting Chris has fled Jezza to Dubai. Both told Chamisa to resign from politics. Both rubbish at Chamisa saying he does nothing. Both told army to hunt down civil society. Chamisa to avoid political tension. Don't know when Christmas Vangwa. clap for that inability. I've been allowing. She can under things. 6 years. You can't clap for that inability. Parmigiano. Dementia. Shit. She can under. Inability. 6 years. Jeza, Zim, I. Zim. 6 years. Jim, in it. Yes, sir. Sustainability.
This is semi-media broadcasting all round the world, on the spot, on the dot.
Aye.